So last time you guys had some conversations about what to do next and decided to head off and talk with Doc about the flower. You got some interesting information about the flower and what it can and cannot do, how it eases transformations and also heightens the supernatural abilities of otherworldly creatures, such as our lovely Saza, before deciding to head off to the Authors of Steel. Too many tabs open.
So do we want to have Saza try it? Do we have enough?
No, you have a few petals.
Okay.
It would take preparing it properly,
Okay.
I will say. It is not just like you can
Just,
eat it.
Eat it. Crunch, crunch, crunch.
Yeah, it's not that.
Okay.
It's always nice when I stop my sentences in the middle of my notes. In the middle. I have I stopped literally in the middle of a word. Alright. So...
We're heading to the Authors of Steel.
You guys head to the Authors of Steel, the renowned blacksmiths of town. You approach their building, which is this large blacksmithery.
Forge?
Forge. That's the word. I could not remember the word. You see multiple stacks of chimney. You see there's a wide open area outside where there can be doing a lot of blacksmithing. There is a lot of people milling about. It looks to be a more popular hub of town. You see neatly stacked piles of metals all around. You can identify various common metals that you'd see around, and some slightly more obscure, but nothing too valuable sitting unattended. There's not just a pile of gold bars sitting there, but as you head inside, you see the interior has a very metallic forge smell. It smells like melted metal inside, even though there is not immediately a forge in front of you. The walls are lined with different tools. They all appear to be in good order and cleanly kept. It gives the impression of like a modern day workshop that no one uses if all the items on the wall didn't have the patina and grime of use to them.
So it's a well-oiled machine.
Yes. There is like a small shop area in the front that you guys enter where you see a bored-looking man sitting there. He looks about 23. He's very stocky and muscular. Not Faye. Gosh. The fact that you were a character named Faye and now your character is so involved with the Faye, it really messes with me. You ping this guy immediately as having Faye characteristics.
Okay.
He has that otherworldly grace and like smoothness to his features that looks a little bit off. You know, this is in a day and age where, you didn't have airbrushing of magazines, and he looks like an airbrushed magazine.
Should we roll for hot?
He has golden eyes and a blonde hair with a slight green forest tinge to it. And he seems to be there flipping through a catalog very absent-mindedly.
Emma's going to elbow Saza. Do you have something you need for your tavern that needs made? So we have a reason to be here?
I wish you would have said something before we got in here. I could have thought of something.
Kingsdale leads in and goes, "Now, I do not mean to be presumptuous as to the purchasing of an item to maybe grease some wheels with this fellow and his establishment, but the good Lady Begonia is always in need of finer and more refined horseshoes for her hooves."
Great. Yes, that's why we're here.
Cool. Before I forgot, we should put this at the beginning of the episode, but there's a few clarifications I want to make about things that I have said in past episodes. The Court of Iron is not allergic to iron like
Every other fae.
Every other fae ever. I have spoken it both ways. They are not allergic to it.
They used to be, and now they are not.
They worked hard at overcoming their allergy to an amount of success that you guys have not verified. There was one other thing I needed to say. Oh, the Court of Iron has been here were originally in town. They have been outside of town for a long while. Significantly longer than any of you have been in town, including Saza. Probably a couple of years outside of town. Do with that what you will, but this is clarifications and retcons.
Because it's been fuzzy before, yeah.
Yep, I just wanted to make that clear for everyone going forward, so it's not weird when I reference it the correct way. Alright, so do you approach this guy?
Sure.
Yes.
Kingsdale walks up and goes, I understand that you are authors of metal and other fine metallic ornamentation. However, I am in need of something simple but essential, which is shoes for my horse, Princess Daffodil. Now, she is a large horse and a heavy one, and requires the finest craftsmanship when shoeing her. Is this something that you would be capable of doing?
We can take care. Are you asking me specifically, or are you asking us in general?
I do not care whether you are the one specifically that does the work. What is your occupation here? Is there perhaps someone else that we should speak to about this? Someone more ready in the moment?
No, I'm running the shop, so I can help you. I was told if I don't do a good job, I don't get to work on my projects later today. And I really want to do that, so yes, I can.
Forget everything that I have said up to this moment. What projects might you be working on that have made you work such a dreary, mind-numbing, and otherwise unfulfilling tasks, such as sitting at this desk, waiting for fools to ask for horses to be shoed?
You're just saying that. You don't actually want to hear.
I am a patron, a supporter, and, dare I say, a financial benefactor of those craftsmen what can make my heart sing for joy with the skill of their hands, or their tongues, or their feet, whatever means or apparatus you choose to employ to move my soul.
So he leans in a little bit. Alright, so I'll tell you. I am working on making an Ori of all the planets in the known universe. And now you're thinking, that's an easy job. And it's not, because you want to know what the cool thing? I'm trying to line it up where it phase shifts so it shows all the different planes at once. And let me tell you, the gear ratios between the moons, how they're perceived in the heavens and how they're perceived here on the mortal plane are impossibly precise to get. But I have been working really hard. I could almost figured out the combination of gears I need to get the moon, the first moon that circles our planet, down, packed, and it can do the phase shift so it looks proper in the Fey realm. No one has let me go into heaven yet. For some reason, they won't let me leave here and go to heaven for no reason, and I don't want to go to the hells because they're... You, and he points at Saza, you are a demon. Can you get me a pass to the hells without having to sell my soul? I like my soul in my body, but I don't know how our moon looks from the hells.
I would have to figure out a way to do that without going above my head.
Cool, you should do that. Anyway, as I was saying, the next problem is I have to get another...
Let me stop you there. This is important. Now, Saza over here owns an establishment of entertainment for all manner of people, and I believe the thing that you are describing would be a wonderful centerpiece in our dining room, in our common room, in the area in which people gather before they abscond to areas more private for themselves.
Saza just looks at you like, what?
Recently, I've taken over the interior decorating of said building. It's in my contract. Anyways, I believe we should go back into your shop and view perhaps a preview of what this might look like to ensure the lady Saza over here is in agreement with my design ideas.
How did you get the Fey realm to line up?
First, Cody, make me a mislead, distract, or trick roll.
Now, what if I'm totally telling the truth and Kingsdale actually wants to buy this thing off this guy?
I think you...
Now, it might be that I also want to do something behind his back while we're in the shop, but technically... I'll roll.
I think that's the... I didn't say you were lying. You are trying to distract him. How good's your mind, Kingsdale?
Bad. Kingsdale's dumb. No, he's not dumb. That's a 7!
Cool, okay. So you get to pick, but I'm going to kind of pick for you. You can create an opportunity, expose a weakness or flaw, confuse them for some time, or avoid further entanglement. You're getting the opportunity. And you get another one.
Oh, yeah. I want to avoid further entanglement in that, like, I want to say that I have enough money to buy this thing, and I actually fully intend upon moving it into the common room of... Hopefully, if it doesn't look stupid... Like, if it's like a table-sized thing that's like whirling planets, Kingsdale actually, that's like totally his style. He loves this idea. It's not a joke at all. But also, the opportunity I want to create is I want to be able to, like, if not me, have like Saza or M sneak around and see if they can find like claw blades, you know, that...
How did you get the view of the Fey realms for the moons?
Well, you see, like, the gear ratio is really hard, but what made it possible to have the weird phase shifting that you're gonna see is the use of a new metal that has been discovered in the mines. It has weird properties, and it is allowing since it's from a different plane, it has a slightly different harmonic that allows the moon to shift into 2 planes at once. I haven't figured out how to get to multiple yet, but I'm almost there. If I can make some sales. Because they said I'm not doing a good enough job out here for some reason, and I don't really understand why I need to be out here. I think my beauty and grace, though an attraction for all clients, is wasted out here when my real skill is with the hammer and anvil.
So, you've been to the Fey realm to see it, though, to line it up?
I mean, well, yes, I am Fey, like, it's not hard to get to Fairy. It's, like, kind of an easy thing. I can go there, like, whenever. Except I don't like them. They are obsessed with, like, rules and manners, and that's so boring when you could be working on metal. We live forever, and we just sit there and be pedantic, when instead we could be crafting wonders that blow people away.
I mean, I agree. How did you said that there's this metal that's new? Is that coming from the mine up there, or did you ship it in
like,
from
you know, where
else?
the dead god is? Doing its thing. Well, I guess not doing anything anymore, just being dead.
Do we know about this? Might be a good time to explain it.
I've mentioned it in the podcast.
Have you?
I'm pretty sure I mentioned it like 3 episodes ago.
Okay. So is this from the body of, what was his name?
Prosperity. Yes. In case I am misremembering, because, you know, that's been known to happen, you guys would know that this is a boomtown because the body of a dead god from the last giant war, which was about a decade ago, ended up here. This was a weird occurrence because gods usually are petty and have minor squabbles that result in a lot of bloodshed down here, but not so much, but no bloodshed up in the heavens. This is the first time in an epoch that a god has died, and the first time that anyone really knows of that they have died and their body has appeared on the mortal plane. It is also the full reason that this town exists in the capacity that it does.
Got it. I hadn't heard that was one of the properties.
Well, there's a lot, like, like gods aren't made of one substance. It's not just like God, there's different parts and stuff. I don't know exactly what this part's supposed to be, but this is called Musnees. Musnees? Man, I'm putting it in chat.
Why'd you pick a word you can't say?
Because this is the closest one-to-one I can say out of 5 pages of words. I picked a metal generator name, and it was not easy.
Musnees.
Musnees. This is Musnees. I don't know what exactly it is. It's what they're calling it.
What else does it do?
Oh, I don't know. Like, I've just been using it for this. I'm not a scientist. I am an artiste. Like, there are better things to do than figure out its chemical properties.
What other orders have you gotten in recently? Anything interesting? Odd?
I mean, there was that, like, I'll make up her... He's like, there was that... And then he stops, he's like, looks at you. Make me a persuasion roll.
What's that with? Heart. Ugh, I have a -1 in heart. Well, that's an 8. They counter your offer or demand payment.
I'm not gonna, like, narratively, like, say it like you owe them a debt, but you owe them a debt.
Okay.
Well, I'm not supposed to be sharing this. We're supposed to keep our orders private, But it was a weird guy who came in recently. They commissioned this really large barricade structure. I don't know. I wasn't on the project, but apparently people were talking about how cool it was to have to balance like a certain ratio of different things. It was all like common metals, but there was like a precise ratio of iron they wanted and stuff, which felt a little bit weird, but like balancing the weight so that it would be like sturdy, but not too heavy to move. It still needed a cart to take it out, but...
Where were they putting it up?
Oh, I have no idea. They were very cagey with answers, but it was like a tall-looking man, very willowy in nature, wore a black suit that was very clean and wore a smooth, faceless white mask. Kind of creepy, but,
Why does it sound so familiar?
Did he speak in a manner maybe odd for this region, perhaps unique or otherwise affected compared to what you are used to hearing? Maybe just out of thought, perhaps similar to me?
No, it didn't sound like you. They were more to the point.
I do not necessarily mean my flourish for descriptive language, rather as to the intonations and specific pronunciations of certain words.
No, they seem to be from here as far as I could tell, but I haven't seen them around. Well, I wouldn't know because they were wearing a mask to be, like, cagey about it.
Was this a cage? Are you talking about a cart-drawn cage?
No, it was like a giant barricade, like, get in the way of the road, I think?
I understand. Yeah, I understand. Did it have, like, the ability to fling rotating knives off of it?
No, but that would be cool to add to my orrery.
Rotating knives. Let's go and look at your orrery.
Well, like, like the hour of blood that happens, like the blood moons, when all the moons align and they're red. Like, we could have blades come out of the moons.
He's very interested in all types of weapons. Any news of anything new people have ordered, he would love to hear about it.
Oh, we don't have... Well, like, he gives you, like, a list, but everything seems pretty mundane. Like, guns, knives. Nothing seems unique in the way you're looking for unique, as he leads you to the back to show you the orrery.
Okay.
So, like, while he's leading me to the back, if he's, like, describing this thing, Kingsdale is, like, surreptitiously walking around and staring. He doesn't see metal claws made by anybody. There's not, like, plans for these or anything, like, nailed up onto a board or anything like that.
No. So as he goes through, he says, but if you're looking for anything, like, weird or mystical or magical, you could always try the Shadow Emporium. Like, they have, like, a lot of weird crap there. But it's not perfected art like we have here. You want the best knife you'll ever hold? You get it from us.
I'm not interested in knives. I am interested in your...
Are you not?
Marvelous planet contraption. The reason we are here, for I do not have any reason why me, Franklin, might specifically be interested in knives. above all other pursuits, am...
People have hobbies, like orreries.
Kingsdale at this point is just like head in his hands.
Excuse you. This is not a hobby. It is a calling.
Don't mind her. She has no mind for the finer things. Now, I would like to pack this up immediately and take it with me.
Well, it's only half done. I've only gotten one plane. There are at least 2 others I could fit into this.
Well, you will not be paid until it is complete, and Kingsdale's gonna leave.
Is there anything else you want to find out in the back rooms while you're back here?
The only thing I wanted to know is if they had made knives and stuff, which it seems like they haven't made the
Okay.
knives we're looking for.
Is he the only one in the back?
You all could have followed him.
Okay.
Also, you had a mechanical question. What is your an out of character question? What is that?
Okay. Out of character. How much of this art piece has been finished?
I wasn't expecting you to buy it, so I don't know. Let's say 75%.
Okay. Here's my question. Here's what I'll say. No. Here's what I'm asking is I've never fully understand like the planes ideas. In my notes, I have about the flower being found on heavenly planes or places with extreme celestial concentration. I'm wondering how close, 1, how accurate this is, and 2, how close the celestial plane is to where our location is, or is this just an art piece?
Zooming way out, the way that planes works is they're basically, think of like layers of earth almost stacked on top of one another, except what divides them is not ground, but like supernatural substance.
Okay.
So to get to travel between any of them, you need to find a quote-unquote cave, or what would be a portal to them.
Yeah.
That makes travel between them exceedingly difficult and very controlled.
Yeah.
There's doorways.
Yes,
between
there are doorways between them. They do not pop up everywhere. There are beings of enough power that could maybe do that, but that's like a gross misuse of power, you know?
I guess what my question is then is would it be possible for the plane that we are on to draw direct power from the celestial plane?
No.
Okay.
So extreme celestial concentration is most likely the fact that there is a dead god in this town, not that there is a doorway to the celestial plane here.
Okay.
I will say specifically, the more specific question you asked of where are the doorways, they are very far away from here. Like, you are in the middle of nowhere. There is no reason to be out here, kind of middle of nowhere. Except, I mean, like, there are reasons.
Well, yeah, there's a dead god corpse.
Yeah.
Right, but it's meant to be very far away from everything. It is hard for both. The reason it hasn't been reclaimed by Celestials is that it's very hard to get to.
Yeah.
The reason it hasn't been claimed by demons is because they don't feel the need to go out and drag it back, like, and steal it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I would say, like, probably a decently easy to access portal to the Hells would probably be in New York off.
Yeah. Would I have noticed that there's a heavy celestial concentration?
I would say no, it's not in the way that you would typically recognize.
Okay. I guess Kingsdale has already left. As he's heading out, Saza's been, like, inspecting it a little bit more, just as an excuse to still stay there.
So, describing this thing, it is a large circle, probably about a dining room table size thing that has multiple planets and planets with moons spinning around them. And as you watch it every so often, your vision like almost shudders and you see a translucent image in a floral colors of everything that's happening, and that's how it would be viewed from the Fey realm, giving you a different view of it, and then it snaps back to being just the mortal, mundane view.
All right.
It's like mechanical. It's on like each planet is on an arm that's like a spoke coming out from the middle. Yeah.
Yes.
And just to confirm, this is the Blacksmith's Guild. This is the Authors of Steel.
Yes, this is the Blacksmith's Guild. 100%.
Okay.
This guy just happens to be the Fae guy who ran away from the Fae.
This is the Fae guy.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's... Okay, then I don't need to ask him that question.
Em noticed that she can have, like, leaned over and, like, whispered that to Saza and Kingsdale. Like
that's the guy. Okay. Then I can't think of any other questions based off the notes I have, so.
All right. He talks with you. Are you not planning on buying it then, Kingsdale?
Kingsdale is once it's done, but if it's not done, then he can't buy it.
Okay.
As we're walking out, Saza grabs Kingsdale by, like, the shoulder part of his clothes. We do not have room for that.
No.
You don't seem to... I don't think you realized how big that was.
It is exactly the size that I thought it was, and although not stated in my contract, I feel that I do have a flair for making an internal space one of interest and fascination, a place where people might congregate to bask in...
Prove that in an area that is not the main area of my tavern.
The other parts of your brothel are rooms in which people are fornicating. It is not exactly a place to put the sculptures such as that.
I'm not saying put the sculpture there.
What?
I'm saying show me that you have the ability to interior decorate.
Buying
sir.
that would be demonstrating such ability.
That is huge.
It's cool looking.
It is very
fascinating.
cool. I'm not going to deny that it's not cool looking. Doesn't exactly fit in the theme.
The theme is entertainment. And
The theme is nothing right now.
Exactly. The theme could be cool planet thing.
No.
While they're arguing about this, can Em touch it and roll with her abilities?
That conversation, it could be cool planet thing, feels like the most Caitlin and my son thing that I've ever heard. What's the theme? It could be cool planet thing.
It's really hard for me to play somebody who's indifferent to solar systems.
This could be M's one thing that she cares about.
Gosh, dang it. Oh, that's okay. I got a 7. So I get to ask you one question. What secrets or mysteries has this object been privy to?
Oh, man.
Crazy blacksmith orgies.
You ever have, like, a question that I'm like, I don't know the answer to this? Let me look at my notes. Let me see if I can figure something out, I guess.
It could be like a conversation this guy has had, or like notes that he's written to himself, or...
Okay, no, I got something. I was looking through my notes. So, as you touch this, you get to overhear a conversation that...
What's his name?
His name is Trevin.
Trevin?
I'll give you his full name, but, you know, it's not his actual full name. Don't get excited, Faye. His name is Trevin Twisty Pond.
Twisty Pond!
Somehow goofier than the name I was gonna jokingly say, which was Trevin Brevin.
It's really fun to use a fantasy name generator for fairy names because they give all of the fairy names are like that. Like the last names are all like Twisty Pond or like Petal Meadow or some crap like that, and it's really fun. It makes me feel better about it sometimes.
So yeah, she like runs a finger along one of the arms. What does she see?
You are transported to a scene where you see Trevin and another fairy talking very fiercely about having Trevin repay his allegiances to the Court of Iron and help them to better manage their intolerance / immunity towards iron. Basically, they have not perfected the art of being completely immune to it, and they are trying to convince / intimidate him into helping them work more on it, especially since he is now in a blacksmithing guild where he gets to work with metals a lot more frequently and can deal with or make different combinations of iron for them to test out.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Just trying to make sure I said all that right and didn't say that.
Say the opposite by accident. Trevin, this is amazing. How... do you mind if I ask you a bit of a personal question?
I mean, you can, but if it's how I made the planets, I'll never tell. It's A trade secret. It's because I smelted 2 metals at the same time and then fused them together. And then the little the continents on them are made through expert drilling. I mean, I'll never tell.
Your secret's safe with me.
It better be. I will come for you. And he gives you a very intense look.
No, I was being serious.
It's an intense look that you recognize and chills you a little bit from this flighty Fae where you're like, oh, he's nonsense. And then you're like, oh no, the Fae are actually scary.
Yeah. I have to say all the Fae that I've ever met have viewed metal as anathema. And I just wonder how you came to be here, seemingly thriving.
There is ways to get around it, and it's basically don't touch iron. It works really well. Don't touch iron, it's not a problem. Make me a convince him roll, because you're looking for more than just,
persuade an NPC.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna blow this guy's mind when he finds out he can wear gloves.
Gosh dang it. That's a 5. So I think I just get nothing.
Yeah, you just fail. So he just goes on, talking about how he manages it, which is not immunity to iron, it's just being careful and, good business, safe chemical practices, except with iron. And you get a very long-winded speech where it's it also, it's not super bad, if you hold it for a little bit, but then you wash your hands immediately after. I do have to use a special soap that has some salt, some sand grit in it, but that's really easy to find since, we're in a desert. You can find sand anywhere. The harder part is actually finding the soap, but the general store, Wesley over at the general store, he's great at getting soap. And, I think the iron speaks for itself with how great and beautiful it looks on these planets. It's just the perfect composition. If you look closely, you can see little mountains on it. I don't know what the other side of the world looks like, so that's kind of just flat right now. And I know that's a misstep on this, but one man can only travel so far, and I don't trust the maps from Jerezi. I think he's a hack. He says he's an explorer, that he's explored the entire world, and I don't see how one werewolf has made it all the way around the world. Do you?
Can I tell you something? I've never believed that story either.
Exactly. Right. You get it. It seems rough. You know what I mean? There's...
who's supposed to verify it? He could just make up anything.
Right. And, intercontinental travel is so hard, even within, the Fae realm, where I can, pop in pretty easily. Only as easily, I have to go find the portal up in the next town, next town over. But
is this a thing?
Author's note, he's exaggerating. It's hard to get to the Fae realm, too.
Okay. How common are portals to the Fae realm?
As common as to the Celestial and Hells.
Okay, got it.
There's not one near here either.
Okay.
He's exaggerating.
Yeah.
For him, he feels like it's easy because he doesn't have to do a border check.
Yeah.
Think about how easy it is for us to get to California. It's not hard for me to go to California versus me going to Canada where I need a lot of documentation, i.e. a passport. But it's also, not a trivial trip for him. But he's acting like it's trivial because he's I could just go there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, even in the Fae realms, it takes a long time. And man, frickin' the days and nights are just all screwy there. Sometimes a day lasts for 4 weeks, and you're how long have I been traveling? I'll rest when it's sundown, and then sundown never comes. And then you're you rest, and then you get up, and then sundown comes. I hate the Fae realm. It's awful and pedantic and weird, and I don't know why people spend their time there when you could just have a normal day-night cycle.
That makes this orrery here even more impressive, honestly.
Right? I know. It's so pretty. I love it. And it's going to be a great centerpiece for Mr. Franklin, who's going to pay me top dollar for it. Though art doesn't really have a price.
I hope to see it there.
All right, you guys head out. Do you want to say anything to anyone before we move on?
Kingsdale is going to go up to the two of them and go, now look, I was serious about purchasing that rather wonderful sculpture. However, I do wonder if there is a means by which I could purchase it remotely or distantly, a way in which I might not have to come back and speak to him again for a very long time about his work.
Why?
Because I feel that... Alright, now at times I can go on. But eventually, you must reach a point.
Talking to both of you felt equal. I don't know what you're complaining about.
I have never been more wounded in my life, Em. First, I am told I am not allowed to choose furniture in a place in which I am renting the basement. And second, I am told that I speak like that guy.
It is a place of business.
You can.
I mean, Saza, you're doing well financially, moderately well financially so far, but I don't know that we're doing orrery well. You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't think that we can afford that even slightly after watching the changes that it does just on its own.
Kingsdale shouts from down the road, "It's an investment!"
If he would like to purchase it and place it in his basement, fine. Right now, I don't know what he's thinking.
Well, as long as I don't have to help him take it down the stairs, that's fine by me.
So you guys start walking back through town, pondering what you have given.
About what time of the day is it?
It's probably like nearing midday.
Okay.
You guys start heading back to the Quiversand Tavern, where you see a large mob chanting with their proverbial pitchforks and torches about how the Quiversand Tavern is a blight upon the town. You are still some distance off. If you want to run up, you can. If M wants to duck away, if someone wants to duck away, they can.
Saza doesn't run, and she,
It's beneath her.
Yeah, she basically just, honestly, I think she kind of just, walks straight up through the crowd and, doesn't even look at any of them, and, she just goes, right up to the door to go in.
You hear a cry from the crowd. "There she is, the woman ruining our town!" Another voice calls, "We had no murders before you came!"
Em is not following her up the steps. She is going around the back.
Saza turns around, very sharply and does that thing where, you're looking at each person's face individually. "I'm sorry. I believe this is a place of
violence where you beat patrons like Hubert Saunders! I know the names I wrote! He can be a hick.
Well, if he wasn't harassing one of my employees...
Like you harassed the patrons of the Gold Dust? Coming in with your salacious demons?
What do you think we do here?
Nothing respectable like the Gold Dust!
That's the point.
Well, that's a really good line. You see some people
We're not interested in killing anyone. Murders certainly do not happen here. If you're interested in a good time, feel free to join us.
Kingsdale's next line was definitely about to be a death threat to anyone that stuck around. We don't murder anyone here at Kingsdale. If you guys do not leave, I will begin murdering. Off premise, of course.
Yeah, not in the Quiversand. Not in the Quiversand. Outside of the Quiversand.
Roll persuade an NPC. If you want to help Kingsdale, you have to say how you're helping out, and then you can roll a lend a hand.
I don't think Kingsdale's standing up there, but unless he's told to start hurting people, he's not going to do anything. He'll just wait, because last time he hurt someone without permission, he got in trouble. I do have a thing where I can make bombs, though. I can just have pipe bombs, so...
No, you can't. You can't just pull out thermal detonators.
Let it out. Jury rig an explosive 3-harm loud fire or smoke bomb.
Why do you always pick characters who can make bombs?
I don't know. All things being fair, I think it was pretty BS that I did that in Star Wars.
I haven't forgiven you, don't worry.
Don't worry, Caitlin can pick that class and do that to you.
I think it would just be a demonstration of strength, which in a Sith world would be encouraged.
Okay, so you said persuade an NPC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. That's an 11.
I like Mandy's little dance.
That was a really good roll for only having a +1. I was waiting for something much worse.
All right. You addressing the crowd has kind of taken away some of their thunder. They seem a little bit less organized as a tallish woman approaches wearing what you assume to be a sheriff's gear. She has the badge on her chest. All right, now, let's not make a scene here. We believe in the rule of law here in Desperation. We do not need to be harassing someone who has paid all of her legal fees to operate here. She turns to you. You have paid all of your legal fees, haven't you?
Of course I have.
I assumed as much. You are a respected member of this town.
At the very least, I understand that what I am is not always looked upon favorably, but we certainly follow the rules.
As you can see, fine ladies and gentlemen of Desperation, we do not need to be harassing independent business owners. So you can disperse. I will make sure that nothing untoward is going on in here, except for the practices that she is, by license, allowed to perform.
What I am actively promoting. That is all we are doing.
I mean untoward as in murders. I'm saying she can have sex in here, even if you don't like it. She can't do things against the law. They all kind of like grumble and start dispersing. I don't believe that we've met. My name is Sheriff Daniels.
I don't believe we have either. Saza puts out a hand. Thank you very much, Sheriff Daniels, and it's a pleasure to meet you.
It is a pleasure meeting you as well, Saza. If you wouldn't mind just showing me the deed to the place, I do want to check. It is nothing against you. We have not been formally introduced, and I have not been able to touch base with Teresa in a few days. She's been having some family matters going on. So if I could just see the paperwork, make sure everything's in order. It's been a rough month for us all here, and I do want to make sure that I am dotting the I's and crossing the T's. Otherwise, some people will get mad, and I will have to deal with them.
Of course. Right this way. And Saza, leads her in. I think it takes her a minute of digging in her room, because she still does not have an office yet. So it's, tucked away in, a secret-ish place in her, where she sleeps. And she brings out the paperwork.
Cool. This seems to all be in order. I presumed as much. You demons are very good at contracts and all, so I was not worried that you were doing anything untoward. I was just had to come in to make a show of it, because otherwise they would still be out there chanting.
Of course, I appreciate your help.
I can't promise they won't be back, especially with this murder case outstanding. But I'm hoping to get around to it, and she, flips through, a small notebook.
You don't happen to have any leads, do you?
No.
Purely from as long as this is happening, I am going to have this problem.
Peter Hooper seemed like none of his employees liked him, but, I don't know, he seemed like a jerk. I don't know how to say that nicely. You're not supposed to talk ill of the dead, but knock on wood, he won't haunt me for saying everyone thought he was a jerk.
Where does your jurisdiction begin and end? I am curious, not because I do not wish for you to enter our facility and look around or anything like that, but rather because I am confused as to why the death of our friend Peter would be your concern at all, as he was not murdered in town.
Are you worried that I'm going to find your moonshine? That's just a joke. Moonshine's legal here. Jurisdiction is an excellent question in a place where it didn't have laws until about 5 years ago. I kind of have jurisdiction where there are people, and I know that is an unsatisfactory answer. I know that it would be nice to say this far and no further, but then someone's gonna take someone out, cross that line, and kill them and say that I can't try them for murder. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I certainly do. I just was unsure if, perhaps your efforts to investigate said murder were met with, the presence of someone that might not respect or facilitate your authority to conduct such an investigation.
I mean, if I couldn't interact with people who don't respect my authority, I couldn't interact with most of the town.
That is true.
Do you think the Hunters Guild respects what I say? I wear a gun. They find that repulsive and cowardly.
I was not speaking of the Hunters Guild, but rather the inhabitants of the forest.
The Fae care for no one, no thing, other than their own rule. They don't even care for each other and respect each other. I've seen them, well, I haven't seen them. I've heard they've cut out each other's throats for misusing a fork at a dinner party. I don't think they care what I think. Doesn't mean I'm gonna stop, but it does mean I'm gonna be careful. See, that's the part about laws. You don't get to choose whether you respect them. They come for you all the same.
Kingsdale just kind of nods.
Is Kingsdale wanted?
I don't think so.
Not here.
I know, not here.
This is at a time where, you could fully restart your life by just, I get on a train and I leave.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's how everybody, married 5 billion people.
Yeah, so, probably he's wanted somewhere, but not here, so no.
I will say, as a DM, there is no plot point of Kingsdale being wanted, unless Cody really wanted that to be a thing right now.
Yeah, I gotcha.
If people from his past actively came to town, yes, probably there would be a grumpy marshal being like, we gotta drag you back so you can stand trial for whatever, but I don't think that's, gonna happen.
The thing is, the grumpy marshal that would drag Kingsdale back to have him stand for trial is too busy being a grumpy marshal and taking care of things. There was not a, overflow of law enforcement in these towns.
Anyway, sorry I derailed that.
Well, it was nice meeting you all. I will take my leave. I wish you the best in your endeavors with the Quicksand Tavern. Quiversand. I am very busy and very tired. I apologize.
It's alright, I understand. Best wishes on your investigation.
And you might want to look into finding some protection until I can put this to bed. Once we know who the culprit is, I hope that they will no longer blame you, but I'm guessing the Gold Dust is going to have a bone to pick with the other brothel in town.
I understand.
She tips her hat and heads out the door.
Saza, it's a good thing you employed a seeker of violence and a supernaturally equipped bouncer to reside in your brothel, even if he at times believes that the interior decorating should land towards the whimsical. And Kingsdale stomps inside, still kind of in a huff.
Alright, that's where we'll end, I guess. Hey Wanderers, thanks for listening to our campaign Desperation. As always, you can follow us on our socials, and if you like what you hear, leave us a review on your podcast app of choice, and tell a friend about the show. We hope you've enjoyed your time in Desperation. Just because it's the end of the line, doesn't mean you don't have options.